Flowing out of the sandhills of Nebraska, the Middle Loop River has been an important part of the development and history of northern Custer County. The waterway has provided habitat for wildlife, a site for a variety of recreational activities such as hunting, fishing, swimming, and even boating at Doris Lake. But in the last 7 years, its greatest gift to the Middle Loop Valley has been surface water for irrigation. In our presentation, we will talk about the 3 diversion dams on the Middle Loop River, near Milburn, Sargent, and Comstock, when each was built and how many acres they irrigate. We will describe and demonstrate past and present methods used to distribute the valuable resource to the crops of the Middle Loop Valley. Methods to be covered include irrigating with lath or pillboxes, siphon tubes, gated pipe, and finally center pivot irrigation.
This is where it all starts.
The Milburn Diversion Dam, constructed and completed in 1959, is located near Milburn, 27 miles from Sargent.
It consists of earth dikes, a concrete spillway and sluiceway that works for the Sargent Canal, which extends southeasterly for 39.6 miles to the western edge of Valley County. The dam serves as a dual purpose of diverting water and controlling sediment. It serves water to over 13,000 acres of land. The Lillian Canal was supposed to begin at the south side of the Milburn Dam and extend southeasterly for 15.5 miles, but it was never completed.
The Milburn Dam is a great place for families to picnic and fish for the day.
Sargent Diversion Dam irrigates about 25,000 acres of land that goes from Sargent to approximately Comstock. Plans for the dam first began in 1933, but after several unsuccessful tries and non-interest, work began on the 39.6-mile canal in January 1955.
Shortly after, on January 25th of 1955, excavation of the dam began. It cost $414,711. This dam was later destroyed by a flood in 2010. The cost to build the new one was $2.15 million. The new one was completed in the summer of 2011.
The Arcadia Diversion Dam, located 3.5 miles south of Comstock, was completed on November 6, 1962. It sits on 777 acres of land and 109 acres of water. The dam serves some farmers and ranchers in Custer County, but is primarily used in Sherman and Howard counties. Water is carried 20 miles from the Arcadia Diversion Dam to the Sherman Reservoir through the Sherman Feeder Canal. A system of canals, pumping plants, laterals, and drains provide irrigation of 53,414 acres of high-yielding land.
This is a pillbox. It is made of 4 lath boards nailed together with finishing nails. It's about a 3-foot long rectangular tube that goes through the wall of your lateral ditch, and it's buried in there, and then it just flows water clear out to the row, and water goes through the center of it. And that's how a pillbox works.
The siphon tube was a great advancement from the pillbox. Siphon tubes are much more efficient than previous irrigation methods. A ditch full of water about 3 feet wide and 2.5 to 3 feet deep is made at the high end of the field. Siphon tubes run on suction and are usually made of plastic or aluminum.
Gated pipe was first introduced in the 1940s. It became popular in Custer County in the 1960s through the 1980s and is still used today. The inventor of gated pipe was Paul Hohenstein. He discovered that a new metal called aluminum made pipe lighter and easier to move. Pipe is more efficient than open laterals and siphon tubes because it allows less water to evaporate and more to percolate into the soil. It also saves water and time and cuts down on manual labor.
Center pivot made its way to the Middle Loop Valley in the 1970s. Initially, it was used to distribute groundwater. Around 2000, farmers started to use surface water from the Middle Loop River. The problem with using surface water was filtering out plant and aquatic material from the canal. Today, screen and filters allow farmers to use surface water through their center pivot. The center pivot uses much less water than flood irrigation, but it still takes about 800 gallons per minute or 2 acre-feet to operate the system.
This is a system that takes water from the Middle Loop River or Middle Loop watershed and distributes it to crops through a center pivot system. You know, we get the water from the river at the Milburn Dam. It goes through the canal system. There's underground pipes buried to this system. It's metered, and they can control how much comes down there. All I have to do is open up the valves. Get the valves opened up. It goes through this system right here. This is a filter that screens out moss and aquatic life so it doesn't plug up my sprinklers. Okay, I open up my valve. This valve goes to my pivot point, and to my pivot, I get that open. I just come over to the control box. Turn on my power. And all I got to do is push a button. Pumps turn on. I can control how much water that I am distributing. Right now I'm putting on 60 hundredths per acre. I can go up. There's an inch, a little over an inch right now. Okay? So real efficient, real quick, real easy way to irrigate crops in central Nebraska using surface water from the Middle Loop River.
The Middle Loop watershed has served northern Custer County well with its beauty, habitat for wildlife, and as a hub for recreational activities. But its greatest gift is the water itself. The river has let us borrow countless of gallons of water to irrigate our crops, which add life and value to the Middle Loop Valley.